अवतोरिया जाय। जहर प्रसादे भाई ए भवतोरिया जाय। कृष्ण प्राप्ति हो जहाँ होते, कृष्ण प्राप्ति हो जहाँ होते, गुरुमुख पद्मावाक्या चित्ते कोरिया क्या। गुरुमुख पद्मावाक्या चित्ते कोरिया क्या। अरना कोरी हो माने आशा, अरना कोरी हो माने आशा। श्री गुरु चरणे रति ऐसे उत्तम गति। श्री गुरु चरणे रति ऐसे उत्तम गति। जय प्रसाद पूरे सर्व आशा, जय प्रसाद पूरे सर्व आशा। चक्षुदान दिलो जय जन्मे जन्मे प्रभु से, चक्षुदान दिलो जय जन्मे जन्मे प्रभु से। दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशितो, दिव्य ज्ञान हृदय प्रकाशितो। प्रेम भक्ति जहाँ होते अविद्या विनाशा जायते। प्रेम भक्ति जहाँ होते अविद्या विनाशा जायते। वेदे गाय जहाँ रचरितो वेदे गाय जहाँ रचरितो श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु अधम जनर बंधु श्री गुरु करुणा सिंधु अधम जनर बंधु लोकनाथ लोकेर जीवाना लोकनाथ लोकेर जीवाना आहा प्रभु कोरो दया देहो मोरे पद छाया हाँ प्रभु कोरो दया देहो मोरे पद छाया ए बेजास घुषु त्रिभुवाना ए बेजास घुषु त्रिभुवाना किला प्रभुपाद पतित पावना जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा जय प्रभुपदा नमः ओम विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Nila Madhav Radhe, Jaya Radha Damodara Radhe, Jaya Radha Giridhari Radhe, Jaya Giri Govardhan, Jaya Giri Govardhan. Jaya Nitai Chaitanya Chandra Nitai Gaura Chandra Gaura Hari. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada.
Pada Mahabhasa Parivarjakacharya Ashtotara Sata Shrai Shrayaman Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Shishima Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Ki Jai Srila Prabhupada Guru Puja Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Prayam Sakaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivas Hari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shamakunda Radhakunda Gary Govardhan Ki Jai Shri Shri Vrindavana Dham Ki Jai Nilamadava Dham Ki Jai Nilamadava Kartik Vrata Ki Jai. All glory to the assembled devotees. All glory to the assembled devotee. All glory to the assembled devotee. All glory to Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Janaballabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Jamuna Tiro Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Janaballabha Girivaradari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yamuna Tiro Vanachare Yamuna Tiro Vanachari I have an allergy to these things. Yeah. Thank you. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Shaiva Narottamam Devim Sarasvatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayat Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. It's text 43, right? 1:13:43. Yata Kridopashkaranam. Kridopashkaranam. Samyoga Vigamau Iha. Samyo Vigama Viha. Ichaya Kredituch Syatam. Ichaya Kredituch Syatam. Tatai Vesechaya Nurinam. Tatai Vesechaya Nurinam. Yata Kredo Pashkaranam. Samyoga Vigama Viha. Ichaya Kredithu Syatam. Tatai Vesechaya Nurinam. Boliye. Yata Kredo Paskaranam. Samyogam Aviham. Kritaya Kredito Syatam. Tatai Vesechaya Nurinam. Ladies, chat. Yata, as much as. Krida upashkaranam. Playthings. Sangyoga. Union. Vigamau. Disunion. Iha. In this world. Ichaya. By the will of. Kredituhu. Just to play a part. Syatam takes place. Tata. So also. Eva. Certainly. Isha. The Supreme Lord. Ichaya. By the will of. Nrinam, of the human beings. So Narada Muni is instructing King Yudhisthira. As the player sets up and disperses his playthings according to his own sweet will, so the supreme will of the Lord brings men together and separates them. Please repeat. As a player sets up and disperses his playthings according to his own sweet will, so the supreme will of the Lord brings men together and separates them. Yeah. So yesterday, Mother Guru Bhakti made this point that Narada Muni is giving two examples of the situation we're in, and yesterday's example was what kind of rope? Yeah, it says a long rope. Yeah. So sometimes we may be on a short rope, right? Yeah, different things in life make you you have to run someplace very quickly because of very immediate circumstances. So you're on a short rope. Yeah. But other times, yeah, we have, we can go this way, we can go that way, right? Yeah. Hamlet, the most famous piece of English literature, not just for the poetical potency, but also for the philosophical profundity and everything else. It's identical situation with Kurukshetra. He has to chastise his family members. He has to kill his uncle. All these things, just like the Pandavas. And he tries to avoid it again and again, but he keeps being pushed back into the same situation. So finally, he tells his friend. He says, "All of us have a certain destiny, even though it may be a little roughly cut. But still." You're not gonna go beyond those bounds or escape them and so on. So it's very same point about free will, and what's the other one? Destiny, destiny and free will. Okay. So yesterday he gave the example that everybody is controlled by the Vedic injunctions, and Maharaji gave excellent class about Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, and about Brahma, Shiva, and everybody all controlled by these rules. Yeah. Okay. Do you have the law of gravity here in Houston? Yeah, we have it in San Francisco, I think, too. Yeah. Yeah, you have it's here? You have it? Okay, we also have it in San Francisco. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. So the Vedas are describing certain psychosocial laws, certain psychosocial laws. The science tries to come up with the idea that there's no ethical and moral universe, but at least we're not going to talk about it. And then, of course, what they're really saying is we're not going to, we're going to pretend it doesn't exist or whatever, or make it what we want to make it. So in today's example, a player sets up and disperses his playthings according to his own sweet will. So the supreme will of the Lord brings men together and separates them. Okay, and this is all to try and, it's kind of like. Vidura's instructions reached Dhritarashtra. Of course, these are all very, very important primordial examples. We're here in Kartik, right? We're trying to celebrate Kartik month, which is a very esoteric Braja Lila month. You're supposed to go to Braja. So many things like that. And even before all the Bhagavatam classes, Prabhupada starts off with Jai Radha Madhava, totally Braja Lila song. You can sing the song all day long. I've heard he said everything is there. Krishna, the gopis, it's like such a complete song. Yeah. So why, the first two cantos though, what is are these in Braja? Are these appropriate for Braja? Why are the first two cantos important for arriving at the 10th canto? Yeah?
Well, because the I'm only speculating, but my guess is that the first two cantos are Krishna's lotus feet,
Yeah.
and the 10th canto is Krishna's smiling face. So first we worship Krishna's lotus feet before going to his face.
Yeah, you're not going to have any basis for anything else. You're not going to, be able to achieve anything else. So the first two cantos are also a part of Braja. There is nobody more intensely fixed in Shanta Ras than the gopis. Yeah. Foundation, if you look at downtown Houston, you see many buildings, 10, 20, 30, I'm not sure how big they are. Tomorrow Hari Lila can tell us. He's listening now, I hope. Yeah. So maybe 35, 40 stories tall. That's pretty high up there, yeah. But you don't notice it, but the foundation is, very important. Yeah. So I asked Hari Lila, do they have like 5, 6, 7, 8 story foundations to hold up the 60 and that? And he said, no, they are mat foundations, right? Yeah, the foundation spreads out like that, and it grabs a hold of the earth. It doesn't. It's not so deep, What are the tallest trees in the world? What are the tallest trees in California? Yeah, redwood trees. Yeah, if you go there, it's really incredible. Along the coast, they have some which weren't cut down. Henry Cowell Forest, and these are 40 and 50 stories tall. If you go heading down into the Galleria or downtown Houston, one of these trees, they're as big as the skyscrapers there, looking over at them. Yeah. But they don't have very deep foundations either, deep roots, They can only exist whether it's like 4, 5, 6 together, because they build up interlocking root systems and support like that. So very important always, Shanta Ras is, as we go on advancing, we have to go on improving our foundation, make it deeper, more solid, become more renounced, more detached, right? Yeah. Appreciating more Krishna's greatness, all these things. So, as a player sets up and disperses his playthings according to his own sweet will, so the supreme will of the Lord brings men together and separates them. And of course, this is exactly what's happening with Dhritarashtra. The whole conclusion of all of his activities was bringing 640 million people together and then sending them all off in different directions. Yeah. What was Krishna's mission of incarnation? You there? What was his mission of incarnation? Yeah.
Protect the devotees and annihilate the miscreants.
Huh?
To protect the devotees and annihilate the miscreants.
Yeah, but specifically, why did Bhumi go to him? What did he agree to do? Why did Lord Brahma go to him, asking him for something?
Because there were a lot of irreligious kings and rulers that were...
Once upon a time, the world was
overburdened by...
with the unnecessary defense force. Yeah, so he had to eliminate all these Kshatriyas. So who helped him the most to do that?
The Pandavas?
Who? Duryodhana. Yeah. No, but nobody, without Duryodhana, there never would have been a fight. Duryodhana was the whirlpool in the river, Shankara said, was sucking everybody to their destruction. Anukulyena, pratikulyena. He was fully engaged in Krishna's service with an intention to cause problems for Krishna, but Krishna just used him to get everybody in one place at one time so he can get rid of them all and get back to the more important activities like that. Yeah. So, Dhritarashtra, he heard, right? That's the whole point. He was caught up in a frightful situation. That's what Vidura says you're caught up in a frightful situation. Yeah? Kali Yuga is coming. Like that. I am the monster, I am coming. Yeah, that's when he was caught up and he was afraid of this and that and this and that. And of course, it's happening to all of us, right? Every day, how many times during the day are we afraid of personality destruction? Everybody has an image, right? When you go to buy your glasses, right? It's a whole thing, like probably Krishna Kripa there picked kind of like Bhakti Siddhanta glasses, and somebody else got the look. And that's you pay for, right? You pay so much for the, the style. Yeah. Okay. You went to Walmart and got the cheap ones. Yeah. That Woolworths. Yeah. But our persona, our personality, we have a whole persona of who am I, what's going on, and we go around in that, and that's how we feel good about stuff, and so many wonderful things. And so every day, it's being attacked by different people, how they treat us, what happens to us, and so Dhritarashtra is being advised by Vidura to get out of this frightful situation. It's bewildering your mind with fear. Get out right away. It's going to get worse. Kali Yuga is coming. And Dhritarashtra, not such an altogether bad guy, because he understands and he accepts it. Boop, gets out. But Yudhisthira apparently didn't understand. He's playing that role, no? Otherwise, Sanjay and Yudhisthira, they both should have been happy, right? He should have been happy. Hey, he left, he did. Hey, good. He's going to die alone in the forest. Oh, wow. Yeah, right? So Yudhisthira he's basically the same instructions being given again.
Did Yudhishthira know at that point? He didn't know that he went to the forest until Narada Muni told him, right? He was just thinking he went and committed suicide.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
actually he took it well. He just...
So drowned in the Ganges or something. And
yeah, okay. It's a good point. Thank you. Good. Promoting Yudhisthira's consciousness. Yeah. I mistreated them. Okay. Maybe even should be happy about that. Yeah. Because that's almost the same thing. Yeah, it's interesting. Because all these subtle motivations, combinations. Purport, Prabhupada says, we must know for certain that the particular position in which we are now set up is an arrangement of the Supreme Will in terms of our own acts in the past. The Supreme Lord is present as the localized Paramatma in the heart of every living being, as it is said in the Bhagavad Gita 13:23. Yeah, I looked it up. And therefore he knows everything of our activities in every stage of our lives. He rewards the reactions of our actions by placing us in some particular place. Kala Desha Patra, time, place, and circumstance. A rich man gets his son born with a silver spoon in his mouth. But the child who came as the rich man's son deserved such a place. And therefore he is placed there by the will of the Lord. At a particular moment, when the child has to be removed from that place, he is also carried by the will of the Supreme, even if the child or the father does not wish to be separated from the happy relation. The same thing happens in the case of a poor man also. The same thing happens in the case of a poor man also. Neither rich man nor poor man has any control over such meetings or separations of living beings. For the example of a player and his playthings should not be misunderstood. One may argue that since the Lord is bound to award the reactionary results of his own actions, the example of a player cannot be applied. So what philosophy is this? This is the philosophy that Krishna used to convince Nanda Maharaj to give up the...
Karma Mimamsa.
Karma Mimamsa. And in the Christianity, who was promoting this in the beginning of Christianity? What group? Manichaeists. You would call them Manichaeists. You can look them up on Wikipedia, everything else. Maybe even still exist to some degree. I mean, at that time in the Catholic Church, when the Bishop of Rome and all these people were starting everything out, if you just mentioned that word, everybody would turn and look at you, like that. What about them? Yeah. So they were promoting the four regulative principles, all this kind of stuff. But their idea was that the same thing, that God is not quite in control. He's powerful, and maybe more powerful than many people, but above him is destiny or so many things like that. And so therefore, why worship him directly? Why worship the demigods? Just do your duty, you follow the karma and everything else, and the results will happen. One may argue that since the Lord is bound to award the reactionary results of our actions, the example of a player cannot be applied. But it is not so. We must always remember that the Lord is the supreme will, and he is not bound by any law. Wow. Not bound by any law. Generally, the law of karma is that one is awarded the results of one's own actions, but in special cases, by the will of the Lord, such resultant actions are changed also. But this change can be effected by the will of the Lord only, and no other. Therefore, the example of the player cited in this verse is quite appropriate. For the supreme will is absolutely free to do whatever he likes, and because he is all perfect, there is no mistake in any of his actions or reactions. These changes of results and actions are especially rendered by the Lord when a pure devotee is involved. It is assured in the Bhagavad Gita 9:30-31 that the Lord saves a pure devotee who has surrendered unto him without reservation from all the sorts of reactions of sins. Yeah, okay. And there is no doubt about this. There are hundreds of examples of reactions changed by the Lord in the history of the world. If the Lord is able to change the reactions of one's past deeds, then certainly he himself is not bound by any action or reaction of his own deeds. He is perfect and transcendental to all laws. Sounds kind of boring, doesn't it? Like that, right? You're God, right? It's like, no? Huh? No? Not boring? Whatever you want to do happens. It's just like, yeah. What's the guy's name? He's a big atheist. Yeah. Whitehead's disciple. Bertrand Russell, big atheistic guy. So Bertrand Russell, I think it was Bertrand Russell, he said in the beginning God was there, and God was there in the darkness and that, and then he created the different planets, and finally he created the earth. Then on the earth he created different kinds of slime and stuff, and the slime evolved and became frogs, and the frogs evolved and became software engineers. Okay, and the software engineers evolved and whatever, So eventually they produced human beings, and the human beings, they bowed down to God, and they bowed down to the thunder and the lightning, and they prayed to God, and they sacrificed their firstborn children to God, and went on praising and worshiping him. And then they developed civilization, and they started having wars and fighting and killing each other in mass quantities, and still they bowed to God and sang his praises and worshipped him. Then they got it to the point where they made everything just really incredible and just were killing each other in mass quantities and destroying the earth, but still they bowed to God and worshipped him. Then God created another planet, and it came out of the void and smashed the earth and destroyed it all completely. Then God turned to the angels and said, "Hey, that was fun. Let's do it again." Okay. So that's Bertrand Russell's idea of what God is doing, sitting up there like smashing people, or it's kind of like it's boring. Everybody just worships you and stuff. Okay, yeah. So this is Shanta Ras, in the beginning. Yeah. Okay. That's today's verse, or not yesterday's verse. Okay. So tomorrow's verse, what he's going to say. Let's go ahead here and look at that. Okay, why not? Yan manyase divam lokam. O king and all. Okay, where is it here? Oh no, it was about how the demons, right? Somewhere in here he says, I think that the demons are more I'm having a problem here because I'm giving this class at 7:30, and I'm giving another class at 11 o'clock to Hawaii, and it's like that's the story of Vritasura and everything else. Let me go back here 1 second. This is very unfortunate. Okay, so I go back here. I hit that button. I hit that button. I hit that button. Okay. We go to chapter 13. Okay. Okay. We go on down here to 27, 29. Okay. 43. Yeah. Okay. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Okay, that's actually the Vritasura verse. It's so similar, the same philosophy again and again. Okay, and there somebody is saying that I think that those who are inimical to you develop more intense attachment, right, than those who are devotees. One develops more intense attachment to you, those who are devotees, and so on. But in the purport, Prabhupada is saying, well, this is kind of humility and so on. Okay, so somebody is developing inimical attitude towards Krishna. Dhritarashtra is involved here. What else? The Pandavas, Kamsa. So many people are there in the beginning setting the whole background. So Kamsa has more intense focus on Krishna than other people, right? Shishupal had very, very intense focus, right? Yeah. Is that good? What was the result? He got liberated, and Prabhupada says in that purport, he actually even went, some people even go back to Godhead. What happened to Kamsa when Krishna killed him? Nothing?
I think in one place it says he got 4-armed form. I think in one place it says he got a 4-armed form.
One place, I think sometimes it says Sayujya Mukti, he just merged into the effulgence, In other places it says Sarupya because he was meditating on the 4-armed form. Yeah. But he was inimical to Krishna. Yeah. So so this is a secondary rasa. One of the it's a secondary rasa is hate or anger, whatever it is. Yeah. Anger is one of the secondary rasas. But the secondary rasas cannot exist without a primary rasa. It has to be one of the 5 primary rasas, then the secondary ones can exist. But sometimes the secondary rasa becomes so prominent, that it covers over the primary rasa, like that. What was Bhishmadev's rasa with Krishna? Virya, heroism. What was his primary rasa? Dasya, not Sakya, Dasya ras. So he was engaged in, this virya ras, but, like a king. Prabhupada says a king will maintain a wrestler and people like that, or some trainer to play tennis with him, and they'll get right into it. And the king is encouraging the guy, and the guy is he's getting into it, but he always keeps this attitude of, being a servant, being an employee. It's quite a thing to be able to do that. Okay, so what was Kamsa's fundamental rasa? The fear is the secondary rasa. It can't exist without a primary rasa. What was his primary rasa with Krishna? Shanta? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, no? Yeah, there's no feeling. So some authorities say that Shanta rasa is not even a rasa. But Prabhupada says, well, whether it's a rasa or not, it's the basis of everything else. That's neutrality. It's just appreciating God is great. So he was appreciating that. That's unusual. Some people can hate the weather, they can hate their family, they can hate their job, they can hate this and that, but it's very rare to find somebody who hates God. God damn you, go to hell, God. It's like you have pictures in their cubicle at work. They spit on pictures of God. This guy's kind of weird, you know. He hates God, you know. You know. Yeah. Bible says exactly the same thing, you know. He said before you were a great devotee, you had so much enthusiasm for worshiping God, and now you're neither a great devotee nor a great demon. You are lukewarm like the spew from my mouth. You're just like drool. It's like that. Bible has good poetry. So same thing. If you're not going to love God, at least hate Him. You know, just don't marginalize the whole process like that, which is what science tries to do, right? Yeah. Science says we just don't talk about it. It's so unimportant. We're concerned with coming up with a new model of the cell phone or a smart car, yeah, or a new kind of weapon which will defeat the enemy. Yeah, the F-17, the F-18, like that. Yeah. Okay. So this whole point is. See, I'm going to segue into Dhammadarastika here. That these things are so important to understand, and we're going over them again and again. Yeah. How many times have you read the first 2 cantos or something here? Once, twice? Yeah, yeah. And each time it's, right? You're picking it up more and more. And actually the purports, you're beginning to realize, my God, Prabhupada's quoting this, Prabhupada's quoting that, Prabhupada's quoting this. Yeah. And so it takes more root. It goes deeper and deeper, and then we become more detached and more appreciative how great Krishna is. You know? The first thing the gopis think of when they think of Krishna is lotus feet. Yeah, but they have different utility than we do for Krishna's lotus feet. Yeah, yeah. But they think of that first. They start there. And then everybody increasing. When Queen Kunti was offering prayers to Krishna, what's the first thing she worshipped? Huh? His navel. Well, why didn't she worship? Why didn't she worship his feet first? Yeah, but why not? Why did she start at the navel? Look out. Sarva's moving at top speed there. Watch out. Like that, yeah. 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 Yeah.
Because she felt that Krishna would be embarrassed because she's an aunt. So if
your aunt comes in or your mother comes in and tries to touch your feet or something, it's like embarrassing. So again, a matter of rasa, but behind it was the proper attitude and so on. Okay. So very, very important to develop this whole ability to, develop this to more and more. Otherwise, what are we going to accomplish? Why are we here in this movement? Prabhupada said, all of you in your last lifetime, looking at Sunday feast, I think it was in New York, and he said, all of you were some of you in your last lifetimes were great yogis and yoginis, and now here you are in this movement, Look at this, and others of you were great gods and goddesses, and now you are here, have come to this movement, right? He looked around and he said, the rest of you, you're just fortunate. kind of just wandered in, looking for something else, and ended up here. Yeah. So why are we here? Why are we attracted? I mean, because we go through so many things. You have experiences, and you end up here. So what are we going to get out of this movement? Are we going to be able to go to Indra Loka? Are we going to go to Vaikuntha? Right? Yeah. Or are we actually going to go to Vrindavan? You don't have to. You can just hear about it. You can go to Vaikuntha and hear about Vrindavan. Yeah. Huh? And if you go to Vrindavan, where are you going to go? You must make your choice now. Yeah. I'm kind of more attracted to the pastimes in Dwarka than I am. I actually resonate more with the pastimes in Dwarka than Vrindavan. Then I realized to be attracted to Vrindavan, I got to be really detached and just like, be floating around on the smell of flowers and these kind of things, To me, it's just like, that's a real world. It's like strange, It's like when guys go to girls' stores. It's like everything is flowers and colors and sensitive stuff, and it's like I like manly smells, like body odor and ketchup, like that. Yeah, sports, like that. Yeah, yeah. So different And what do we want? What are we going to accomplish? Here's an opportunity. Yeah, the demigods and everybody else are trying to come into this movement because they realize, hey, this doesn't happen very often. The doorway is open. Yeah, let's try and get into Lord Chaitanya's movement. Okay, so this is Kartik, which is fantastic opportunity to advance in devotional service. Every day we're going to sing the same song. We're going to offer the same candles, right? Yeah, we're going to sit in the same place. It's going to smell like you. Yeah. So where you're sitting is going to smell like you after the month. Okay, yeah. That's a Christian preacher did that. Yeah. Niyamagraha, right? Niyamagraha. What is niyamagraha? Yeah. It means following the rules and regulations for some other purpose. I got to keep my personality intact here. I got to show up for the different festivals. I get liberated. It's nice. It's fun. Yeah. First time we did Damodarastika in San Francisco, I remember it was so nice. It was the fall, and when it was still in the mornings, it was still kind of confidential and dark, and the song is so beautiful. So you become attracted to the Brahman, in the Brahminical atmosphere and stuff like that, and something like that. But do you know the word-by-word meanings? Yeah, you can gradually, okay, this Kartik, I'm going to learn the word-by-word meanings for some of the things. And you sing them with a whole different perspective when you know what the words mean, you know. Sangsara lava dala loda lida tranaya koruna gana. Yeah. So many, when you're listening, you can tell that people don't know what they're saying, you know, because they're combining the words together in the wrong way. I don't know, yeah. So what kind of rata? So I'm trying to, this time through here, okay, now how does this work? I got to go there, okay, then I go there, okay, my files, then I go back, I go to downloads, that won't do it. Oh my God, okay, where is it? Is it here? Oh yeah, okay, backup from phone. Oh my God, okay, Radhe, Shamalade. Something's going. I'm in the wrong place. Internal storage. Let's try that. Downloads. There it is. If you go to my webpage, jayarama.us, it's easy to remember. Even a moron could remember that. Jayarama.us. Okay. Then you go to it says archives. You go there, you'll find this file. Vrindavan Dham Mahima Marita. Who wrote this? Who is he in Krishna Lila? Tunga Vidya, the gopi on the far left. Tunga Vidya, the peak of knowledge, wisdom. And she's kind of inclined to support Krishna. You know, Lalita and Tunga Vidya have it out over like whether they should be beating Krishna with flower garlands or you know, or listening to his excuse for being late for Radharani's birthday party. Yeah. So he did so many wonderful things. Of course, he's the uncle of Gopal Bhatta Goswami, yeah. And one of, the brother of Prabodhana, of Venkatabhata, yeah. Super high caste, we call it South Indian Brahmins from Kshetra. And he left everything to become Gaudiya Vaishnava and wrote such beautiful things. So he also wrote Vrindavan Dham Mahima Marita. Okay, how's this going to work? And this is a translation by Kusha Krata Das, which is very intense. And this is composed of shatakas. What does shataka mean? Jayom Vishnupad, Paramahamsa, Parivrajacharya, Ashtotara Shata. 100, because the smaller number goes first in Hindi and Sanskrit. Ashtotara Shata Sri Sriman. So you got to say Sri Sriman 108 times. Okay, yeah. So shatakas are 100 verses. So how many are there? Well, it says here there are 16. Yeah, it's a lot. yeah. This man. So he's glorifying Vrindavan Dham. So here we can start off with the first shataka. And he says, meditating on the lotus feet of Sri Sri Radha Murali Manohar, Krishna playing his flute, placing myself at the dust of Lord Chaitanya's feet, and respectfully offering obeisances to the great devotees of the Lord, who are like so many oceans of transcendental virtue, I shall now happily begin to praise the transcendental opulences of Sri Vrindavan Dham. Jai. We're off to a good start here. I am not strong enough to go to the farther shore of the great nectar ocean of Vrindavana's glories. Who can go there? However, because I love Vrindavan, I will now dip into that ocean. I pray that this endeavor may become successful and bring an auspicious result. O Sri Vrindavan, please reveal in my heart your wonderful transcendental form, full of the most confidential spiritual knowledge and bliss. Embarrassed to describe the highest nectar, the Upanishads only say, not this, not this. Where are you described? Day and night I glorify Vrindavana, which is filled with the wonder of Sri Sri Radha and Krishna's pastimes, the wonder of the greatest sweetness, the ultimate nectar of Lord Hari. I mean, you can go to 7-Eleven and places, you can buy different kinds of nectar, right? They have all kinds of beverages you can buy there. But this is God's own own private vintage here. The sweetest, most beautiful auspiciousness and a flood of virtues Ananta Shesha, Shiva, and a host of others cannot cross. Think of Vrindavan with love. Roll in its dust. Yeah. Love it ardently. Please its moving and non-moving residents. Worship Sri Radha's birthplace. With all your heart, take shelter of Sri Vrindavana, the best of holy places. And of course it's right here, under Radha Damodar is Sri Vrindavan Dham. If the Vedanta does not directly describe Vrindavan, why should that matter to me? If the faulty logicians who are like serpents living in the Vedic literatures ignore Vrindavan, why should I care? If even the devotees of the Lord do not understand the glories of Vrindavan, how does that affect me? Even if my heart were pierced by thousands of thunderbolts, I would never leave Vrindavana. There's something really interesting you can do here. You can go here and go change the word Vrindavan for ISKCON. It becomes just like, it's really interesting you do that. I meditate on ISKCON where the cuckoos sing the fifth note. The flute plays splendid melodies. Peacocks sing and dance. Vines and trees bloom. Splendid and charming forests are wonderful with many birds and deer. And there are many splendid lakes, streams, and hills. The transcendental, subtle, expansive Brahman effulgence, which is the secondary cause of the material creation, is last. Before it is Vaikuntha, then Dwarka, then Krishna's birthplace, Mathura, then Krishna's Vrindavana, the shelter of the Sarabi cows. And first is the place in Vrindavan in the forest where the gopis enjoyed pastimes, where Radha's grove, which fills us with wonder, and which is the form of the highest, purest love, which maddens everyone there, is splendidly manifest. Imagine translating this. This is all one sentence, the entire thing. Wow, yeah. Wonderfully flooded with handsomeness, intelligence, and mutual love, Sri Sri Radha Krishna eternally enjoy passionate, amorous pastimes in the company of their friends there. Sri Vaikuntha is perfect in every way. Sri Vrindavan, this is a good one. ISKCON is perfect in every way. Blind fools say there are genuine defects. Oh, I pray that I may not see these fools at the moment of my death. Are they not the object of everyone's laughter? but it's a fact. I mean, this is a nice perspective. Radha Nila Madhava are Radha and Krishna. This is Vrindavan Dham, ISKCON. Well, it's interesting then, because what kind of Vrindavan, what kind of ISKCON, what's happening? After attaining the platform of Brahman happiness by performing severe austerities, the personified Upanishads worshipped the personality of Godhead without any reservation, and thus obtained His mercy. Jai Shri Shri Radha Madhava ki jai. But by the mercy of the Lord, they were able to become Surabi cows in the land of Braja and enjoy the direct association of Sri Krishna. By constantly grazing on the grass of Vrindavan, they became filled with the nectarian taste of the topmost mellows of pure devotional love for the lotus feet of Sri Radha Krishna. So if you become a blade of grass in Vrindavan, it's quite a job, because you've got to teach other people the proper flavors of different mellows like that. Okay, 2 more. If someone relates to me the faults of one of the moving or non-moving residents of Vrindavan, then how is his action different from cutting me with hundreds of sharpened swords, arrows, and other weapons? The residents of Vrindavan are as dear to the personality of God as his own life. If one is a little bit inimical to even a blade of grass in Vrindavan, then who will be able to rescue him from the horrible hell that awaits him? When will that rescue occur? After hearing this, you figure maybe you can reconsider whether you're going to go to Vrindavan or not. It's like, Prabhu, we're going to go to Vrindavan for Kartik. And you read this and you're going, God, that's like, he promises, yeah, it's very dangerous. He said, control your senses. If you start to lose control of your senses, get out. Yeah, because the reactions are unbelievable. Stay with ISKCON tour groups, ISKCON, what do you call it, what's it called, the MBT restaurant, eat pizza. Yeah. And be careful when you go off alone. Yeah? Yeah. Yes. All glories to A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami. May my eyes be overwhelmed with ecstasy by seeing the waves of Vrindavan's beauty. May my intelligence drown in the nectar ocean of Vrindavan's glories. May my body become agitated. This is again a gopi. This is Tungavidya talking. Agitated by the swiftly moving currents of ecstatic bliss that roll about and thus roll about on the ground of Vrindavan. Falling down like a stick, may I offer my respectful obeisances to all the residents of Vrindavan. And these triple percentage sign here are the ones that I thought were really good. This is one more, this is the last one. May the land of Sri Vrindavan, where Subal and the other wonderful cowherd boys, who are all dear friends of Sri Krishna, play. Where Lalita and other splendidly beautiful young gopis, who are all filled with love for Srimati Radharani, enjoy transcendental bliss, and where Sri Sri Radha Krishna thirsts to enjoy transcendental amorous pastimes day and night, become manifest in my heart. Jai. Shri Shri Vrindavan Dham ki jai. Shri Shri Dhritarashtra drowning himself in the Ganges ki jai. Shri Dhritarashtra going back to whatever, he achieved Shantaras, right? So, any final question or comment? Is it? Are you going to leave ISKCON? He said later on, it says if someone tells me to leave Vrindavan, I will cut out his tongue. And if somebody tries to take me out by force, I will kill him. If I'm so poor that I have to steal from others to live, I will never leave ISKCON. Of course, this is Srila Prabhupada's ISKCON. And he says that. He's got to see the real Vrindavan Dham and everything else. And this Kartik, very wonderful mantra. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna Maha Mantra ki jai. Okay, there it is. Yeah.
Did you have anything to say about Kushakrata Prabhu? Did you ever meet Kushakrata or?
I met Kushakrata. One time I saw Kushakrata. He had 2 arms and 2 legs. He had a nose. He was. He grew up in New York. Right away, anybody who grows up in New York is unusual. Okay, so he was there in New York with Pushkar, and they were in the same school together, whatever, And I think he was one of the first kids to get a library card. Kushakrata was, and he would like checking out all these weird books on metaphysics and so on. So right from the very beginning, he was a very mental platform kind of guy. then somehow or other, maybe because of Pushkar or something, he came to the temple, and I think was it Los Angeles or Philadelphia or something, and he was kind of getting irregular. He wasn't bathing this and that, and just absorbed, and they were wondering what to do with him. And Prabhupada apparently said, "Give him a chance, let him, you know." So anyway, he kind of got adjusted and got part of ISKCON. And then he ended up, not too surprisingly, with the Sanskrit editors, because they were going through Prabhupada's books and translating and word by word meanings and stuff, and trying to do something practical so Prabhupada could focus on the purports. And then after Prabhupada left his body, then he started translating all the works of the Goswamis and everything else. Gopala Champu, what do you call it, the Sandarbhas, everything, all this stuff. And at that time also, then there were some of other Gaudiya Mat sannyasis were translating all these very esoteric things, which Bhakti Siddhanta, said they shouldn't even, they should bow down to them, but you shouldn't read them, like that exactly, So we're translating them and making them public, and many devotees in ISKCON or whatever else were going to read these to get advanced knowledge and all this kind of stuff. And so there was a movement actually in the authorities to have Kushakrata, told not to translate this stuff. Don't translate it. Don't print it. So finally, I think it was Guru Prasad Swami, he said, "Hey, look, they're going to go after it no matter what. And so if Kushakrata is translating it and that kind of stuff, he's going to give a Siddhanta and these kind of things." So the conclusion was that he could translate and sell the things, but he couldn't advertise them. And he was cool with him, So he was translating all this stuff. And he got a one-bedroom apartment in the apartment complex that belonged to the temple across from the Los Angeles temple. And in the living room, because he would print the books up, he was doing about one book every 10 days, right? As a Sanskrit editor, about every 10 days, 1 week, 2 weeks, he was turning them out, cranking them out and stuff. And then he would send it off to someplace in Tennessee or Alabama, which was doing on-demand printing. You just send your file to them, they print it, glue bind it, and ship it back, So he was doing like maybe 500 copies or something, like that. So he had these stacked up in the living room. There were boxes here and boxes there and boxes there and half open and everything else. So I went one time and I knocked on his door, Yeah, and he opened the door and said, "Yes?" Yeah, it was like they were just like totally, wasn't, totally, it wasn't neutral. I mean, no material connection. Like, how are you? What's the weather like? Anything else? It's like, what are you here for? What do you want? Okay. And so I said, well, I wanted to, hello, Krishakad. Oh, hello. Good to meet you. Yeah. I was looking for this book and that book and so forth, so on. And he said, okay, that's here. This is here. Okay, well, so everything was just like totally, just down to some spiritual initiative, whatever. Okay, and then from the living room there was a kind of narrow, walkway which went to the kitchen, and the side thing went to the bedroom. And so he had apparently like washed his laundry like 2 months before or 3 months before, ran it through the dryer, and brought it back in a basket and set it in the hallway. At some point he knocked the basket over, and the laundry just kind of, clean laundry just kind of fell onto the carpet. And he hadn't picked it up or anything. He'd been walking back and forth on it until it actually had kind of merged into the carpet. And it was just like all kind of merged and stuff was there, like, Yes, that was his, And he would to eat. He would go and look after the brahmacharis had all their lunch, their breakfast. He would go, and if there was any remnants, he would take that, Then he had a deal with the temple commander. He had to pay some minimal amount, for that, a small amount, Yeah. So a very special thing. And his translations, he himself, accepted, that his translations weren't perfect, that his Sanskrit was not like, especially trying to translate Prabodhananda Saraswati's Sanskrit into English and stuff. He just, some of the stuff, and other things too, what do you call it, what do you call these things, the Sandarbhas by Jiva Goswami. He was like, that's how Radhika Raman got his PhD from Oxford, by translating one part of one Sandarbha. Yeah, so Kushakrata appreciated, hey, this is, and so the works he was selling, they were like manuscripts, because they had their translations, but there were spelling mistakes and grammar mistakes and punctuation mistakes in there. So other senior devotees, Sanskritists would say, Kushakrata, like at least, the Sanskrit's not perfect, and, we could go through and help you edit them, but we're doing this kind of stuff, and okay, but at least why don't you clean up the spelling mistakes and all this kind of stuff? And so he said, no, I'm going to leave those there so people know that they're dealing with a manuscript. Yeah? Yeah. And then I think one devotee, I forgot his name, anyway, I won't mention his name, I'm not supposed to do that when you're sitting here, okay. One devotee who does some very nice teenagers' books, went through apparently, and then took Kushakrata's books maybe about 5 years ago, and with one printer in Vrindavan, in the Loy Bazaar, they went through and cleaned up all the orthographic mistakes, the spelling mistakes, punctuation mistakes, and they printed them and distributed them like that and so on. And so yeah, they have the mistakes in them, and they're going out in that fashion and so on. But some better translations in terms of accurate grammar and all this kind of stuff, but his are more intense. I mean, he translates, communicates the Bhava, into English in so many ways, so intensely. So he was doing this, and he translated all the Goswami literature, all this kind of stuff. He finished it off. Then he wrote a poem himself. I think it was maybe glorifying Krishna or Vrindavan, perfect meters. Then he discovered he had throat cancer, so he got a room down near the Radha Raman temple, some place like that. And he just was coming in, he got some money coming up, and apparently it's not painful, you just kind of like die, So he finished off everything he was supposed to do, and he left his body in Vrindavan Dham. Kushakrata ki jai. Huh? I don't know. But it was something, either it was about Krishna or Vrindavan. And of course, it was very appreciated. So, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki jai. Kartik Vrata ki jai.